Welcome back, fans, to the ECHL Insider. I am your host, Garrett Hunter, excited to talk about the South Division today as we go division by division, talking about all 28 ECHL teams. And before we get to the South Division, some big news for the Norfolk Admirals as they have announced a new affiliate with the NHL's Winnipeg Jets and the AHL's Manitoba Moose. I think this is a good affiliate, definitely will aid the Norfolk Admirals in their rebuild. Now, on to the South Division. Over here is how the South Division finished, with number 7, the Savannah Ghost Pirates, and number 1, the South Carolina Stingrays. Bet a lot of you are surprised that the Florida Everblades finished 4th in the regular season, despite going on to win a Kelly Cup. We'll talk about that later in the episode, but right now let's start with the last place Savannah Ghost Pirates. And in their inaugural season, you'd expect probably little fan support and not a whole lot of hype around this team. Complete opposite. 33 out of 36 home games were sold out for the Ghost Pirates in Enmarket Arena. Just an impressive fan support behind this team. And now the All-Star Classic in 2024 will be at Enmarket Arena in Savannah, Georgia. That should be one of the best venues for the All-Star Classic. I think it'll just be obviously a sellout. I mean, Savannah fans and fans from around the entire league there. That will be something to look forward to. But this team, something to look forward to. I would expect this is the team that no one expects to make the playoffs this year. I think they will. I think they'll make a surprising playoff run. And those fans, in Savannah will be right there behind them, cheering them on. And at number 6 in the South Division was the Orlando Solar Bears behind first-year head coach Matt Karkner. Definitely a disappointing year for the Solar Bears as they, third straight season, missing the playoffs for Orlando, but definitely some hope at the end of the tunnel, I think, coming into the next year. I like the signings that they have brought on. One thing, though, of concern for Orlando is their best defenseman from last year, Michael Brodzinski, is an unrestricted free agent, so probably will not re-sign with the team, and that'll be a big loss defensively. This was a team that struggled on defense last year, and that will be a key piece that they're going to lose. So hopefully they can replace that with the new defenseman they have brought in, though. At number 5 is the Atlanta Gladiators. New head coach and former Atlanta Gladiator himself, Derek Nesbitt, steps in now as the head coach. A lot of hope for this team, I think, with Jeff Pyle still being in the organization. He is a big part to Atlanta's success over the last few years, despite missing the playoffs last year. He was coach of the year in the ECHL 2 seasons ago, and I expect Atlanta to get back in the playoffs this year. Just really good offseason moves made. A lot of great re-signings made, especially Cody Salvester and Zach Yoder, 2 big Atlanta players that they got re-signed, and just really optimistic about the Gladiators coming into the next season. And at number 4 was the Florida Everblades. You might barely making the playoffs. It wouldn't be what I would say. I mean, they did have a good cushion over number 5 Atlanta, but man, once they got in the playoffs, they were just on fire. I mean, first round South Carolina Stingrays, that was an absolute dogfight of a series. But after that, pretty good showing against Jacksonville, great showing against a great Newfoundland Growlers team, and then the Kelly Cup finals against the Idaho Steelheads, a 4-game sweep to win back-to-back cups. Just impressive from the Florida Everblades. They will go now for a 3-peat of Kelly Cups. And at number 3 was the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. They lost to Jacksonville in the first round of the playoffs. This team now back-to-back seasons losing in the first round of the playoffs. Just disappointment from the Greenville Swamp Rabbits. They felt like they had a strong team. They felt like they could make a deep run in the playoffs, and it just didn't happen. So a lot to look forward to, I think, for Greenville, but this is going to be a South Division that's going to come to play. All of these teams are going to be great, I think, this next coming year. So Greenville's really going to have to step it up, I think. And really, you got to get higher seeding, I feel like, in the South Division, especially a team like Greenville. They want to have that home ice advantage. They probably want to get the 1 or 2 seed in the South Division. So, and a hard schedule, too. I mean, this is not going to be an easy schedule. Non-conference opponents like the Toledo Walleye and Cincinnati Cyclones. So, not an easy schedule this year as well for the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, but I think they'll still be able to put it together and clinch a playoff spot. And now the number 2 Jacksonville Icemen. What a great showing this last season, making back-to-back playoff appearances now, but for back-to-back seasons losing to the Florida Everblades. This time it was a game 6. What a heroic effort though, down 3-0, winning back-to-back games in Estero to force the series to go back to Jacksonville, where they lost that game 6. But I think a lot to look forward to if you're Jacksonville. That was a great season that you just came off of, and a lot of great goaltenders you had. So if you re-sign those goaltenders, I think that is a key piece to this Jacksonville Iceman success in the 2023-2024 campaign. And then the team that finished number 1 in the South Division in the regular season, the South Carolina Stingrays. Just the driving factor of what made this team so great was the offense. Multiple games where they put up double digits in the regular season. These guys were impressive offensively. I mean, when I was watching their games, I remember last season just thinking every time they're in the offensive zone, it's going to be a goal, especially at home. Very strong offensively. Defensively, probably a little bit of room for improvement, but it was the big disappointment for the Stingrays was going out in round 1. In a game 6 to the Florida Everblades at home, these guys were expecting a deep playoff run. These guys are tied with the most Kelly Cups. What a rich history for the Stingrays. And they expect to go deep in the playoffs every year. The year before last, they didn't make the playoffs, one of the worst teams in the South Division. What a disappointment that was, but they really bounced back this regular season. So the key for them is going to be return that offensive output. What a great offense they had last season, but if you want to have a shot at even clinching a playoff spot in the South Division, they're going to have to return that same offensive output. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for next week when we talk about the Central Division, and we will see you in 2 weeks.